Hi everybody, Penny Hunsiker, Integrative Nutritional Health Coach with American Health and Wellness Group here. And I just got back from the grocery store for you because I know it's back to school time. And regardless if you're e-learning, homeschooling, or going to school part-time, moms and dads are wondering, what are we gonna pack for lunch? What are we gonna feed our kids? Now, one of the main complaints I heard over the time when the pandemic started was my kids are always hungry. They always want me cooking. So I want to give you some hints and tips today on how to keep your children nutritionally satisfied, what we nutritional people call satiated, so they're not bugging you all the time. I also want them to be able to have a long attention span and also not get brain fog or lethargic. So we're going to talk about some foods today, what to watch out for, especially when you're grocery shopping and food labeling. There's a lot of clever names and label deception out there. And the number one thing I want to talk about today is how much sugar is in our children's diet. So the American Heart Association recommends that there should be only 25 grams of added sugar in a child's diet age up to 18, okay? So that's about 6 teaspoons. So let's take a look at how a day might unfold, and these are just a few items, and we'll talk about ways to replace them with healthier things. Because one thing we want to inhibit from happening to children are sugar crashes, okay? When we feed our children in the morning waffles or bagels or bowls of cereal, things that are not real high in nutrition or a good protein or a healthy fat, then they're more likely to be hungry in about an hour, actually. The other thing that happens is this causes their blood to spike. And for children especially, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but it needs to be substantial. So you might want to think of scrambled eggs, getting them used to eating eggs. You may have to introduce this slowly. Put some vegetables in there, finely chopped. You know, I used to try to hide things in food. Also, what I learned when I made healthy meals for my children, if it looked pretty, they were more apt to eat it. If I set it on the plate where it was a smiley face, they were more apt to eat it because we eat with our eyes, right? Children are the same way. But let's talk about that 25 grams of sugar that's recommended. Let's talk about sugar spikes. So let's say this is something you went to the grocery store and you thought, oh, this is a much healthier cereal. Now remember, I was going to educate you a little bit on label deception. And so if you look at this, it really touts the fact that it uses real honey, that it's naturally flavored, and contains no high fructose corn syrup, which it shouldn't, artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. Well, we're real happy about that. But think about this. If I flip this over and I read the content, there are many items on this label I really can't even pronounce. There are many more than 5 ingredients, which is a rule of thumb I look for, is 5 ingredients or less as much as possible. I also noticed that whole grain flour is the first ingredient. Now that acts like a sugar in our bloodstream, okay? So that whole grain flour will spike the blood sugar. Second ingredient, sugar. Now maybe some of it does come from honey or natural sugar, but to our bloodstream and to a child, sugar is sugar is sugar, whether it's honey or whether it's just regular cane sugar. So if I look at the content on this, 1 cup, which usually a bowl is more than a cup, is 12 grams of added sugar. American Heart Association says 25 grams or less. I've already almost given my child half of the amount of sugar that they were supposed to have for the day. So be careful of those clever names and misdirecting you here on the bottom. Also remember the words real and natural. They are not regulated by the FDA. They can use those words freely and they really don't mean anything. So now maybe we're going to pack some lunches and we grab something like this. We call this greenwashing. So if you look, it's got the word simply. That's a very popular greenwashing. Farm raised, that's another one. Has a green leaf. Now, I will tell you that this is slightly healthier than the original Cheetos because it actually isn't, it uses non-artificial colors and flavors, yes. So that is marginally better. But please remember, this will spike our blood sugar. It has no real nutritional value. This is like a snack, but it does cause the blood sugar to go up. And if I read the ingredients, I actually in the grocery store set these side by side. There wasn't that big of a difference. I think in nutritionally, in saturated fat, there was only 1% difference. So be careful of the really smart things they want you to know, that really at the end of the day, you might do good to just do them something like healthy popcorn. That would be good. Now, as for a treat, be super careful of the deception labeling and misdirecting. They want you to know this has no high fructose corn syrup in it. It's also going to tell you right on the front how many calories, saturated fat, sodium, and 23 sugars. So the thing of it is, we need to be educated. 25 grams is what the American Heart Association recommends. This one serving, one little pouch, has 23 grams of added sugar, right? So already between my cereal and one of these maybe snacks at lunchtime, I'm way over the limit for my child. And now let's take a look at one of the all-time favorites. I used to buy this for my kids, Capri Suns, right? Back in the day. Now, it will tell you a lot of what we call, you know, they want you to give you a little bit of, hey, look at me. So it's going to tell you all natural ingredients. And again, remember that word natural isn't regulated, okay? It's also going to say 30% less sugar, no high fructose corn syrup, no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. So we think, wow, we're doing really a good job. Plus, guess what? It's the kids' favorite drink, according to the advertisement. But what about it? One pouch, the total sugars is 13 grams of sugar. This is about half of the daily allowance of added sugar for kids, right? And just remember, if we are talking about sugar crashes, giving them juice also can cause a sugar crash. So you want to maybe even introduce maybe a little bit of sparkling water with their juice. Actually, my kids used to really like that. I used to use grape juice with sparkling water. And then finally, be careful of healthy washing. For instance, this Pellegrino here, we often associate that with health because it's sparkling water technically, but this has real juice in it. But if you read the label, it actually has 29 grams of sugar in it. So we want to be careful and maybe stick with good old water. Now, why do I tell you all this? We want to keep our children's sugar from spiking and falling so they don't get lethargic, they don't get angry, and they're able to stay focused on their studies. This also, sugar crashes can make them sleepy. For breakfast, again, some eggs, maybe protein, turkey bacon. Try to find healthy options that are for you and for them. Make the plate look pleasing, okay? And then slowly introduce these things, right? Don't just throw it on them, but do one step at a time. And most importantly, always read the back of the label. Children should have no more than 25 grams of added sugar a day. And please always help them be strong by giving them something that has a good protein and healthy fats in it. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Good luck with the schooling, and we'll see you next time.